The following is an audio interview between law enforcement and those who witnessed the tragic incident at the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade when Darrell E Brooks drove his mother's red Ford Escape through the parade. 6 people lost their lives that day, more than 70 sustained injuries, and the numbers of those emotionally traumatized is beyond the hundreds. While most of the descriptions contained in this video are not graphic in nature, some may find this audio difficult to listen to. Viewer discretion is advised. Adam and Stephanie Bonesteel participated in the parade that day with Stephanie's employer, Citizens Bank. Adam was driving the truck which pulled the Citizens Bank float, while Stephanie was walking alongside and sometimes behind the float. Please remember to be respectful of the victims and the witnesses in your comments.
The good moments are starting to just get more of those.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Just trying to. Both our kids were there. Trying not to think of the what ifs.
Yeah.
How, whys. Just look forward and.
So from what I understand, you were pulling the float for Citizens Bank?
Yes.
Okay. And Stephanie, were you in the vehicle with Adam?
I was walking,
You were walking.
and my kids were also.
Okay, so you were behind the float.
Yes, I was on the side the car came through, but not up. I was lagging behind a little bit.
Okay. And what are the ages of your children?
Our daughter is 13 and our son is 10.
Okay. Prior to everything happening, do you guys remember anything that seemed out of place or unusual or?
The one thing I remember when I was driving, I heard sirens. And all I thought to myself was, that's odd.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think, we've done a lot of parades.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I don't think we were by the fire engines, and usually they're usually in front. So we were probably, 2/3 of the way back as our number was.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it, other than, I'm hearing sirens. And my driver's window was down. I had another woman who was volunteering with us. Her 6-year-old daughter was in the passenger seat.
Okay.
With me, so I kept her window up. Usually I do have, so I can keep an ear on things and an eye on things. I'm basically looking backward more than I'm looking forward in these, because I have people walking up, pulling things off the trailer. And,
Right.
And so that is the only odd thing I heard that I did say to myself that, I'm hearing sirens.
Yeah.
That was it.
Who was in front of you in the parade?
The dancing grannies.
Were they directly in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
They were directly in front of us, but there was probably, I would say, a good 20 yards between us at this time.
Okay.
So as the road's set up on Main Street, and I don't know the crossroads where we were,
Yeah.
but they were basically at the first crossroad, and then the dance team behind us was about that far behind us,
It seemed like we were the only one on that block.
in between those two cross streets.
Okay. Which makes sense now because they were probably in the 200 block crossing the street.
That would be correct. Their vehicle, they were ahead of their vehicle. They had a small SUV that carried their supplies and had the stereo system on top of it. And they were in front of him, and he was probably crossing that street. So they had been on that block.
So you heard the sirens.
And that was before we got into that block.
Okay.
Or maybe as I was crossing, because I remember looking to my right, I hear sirens, and I looked over to my right and I could see down the street, but then then I just went back into,
Driving
yeah.
the flow. Do you remember hearing or seeing anything, Stephanie, prior?
The first thing I saw, or that was out of place, was when I looked. I heard commotion behind me on
Yeah.
the parade route, and it first, but you're so focused on what you're doing, where you're walking, that at first it didn't register, but then I heard something again, and I turned and I looked, and it was pretty dark at that point, and I just remember seeing headlights
Okay.
that were coming. Again, it was probably, I'm terrible with distance, but it was back by, I think, the crossroad. It was a ways back. It was not very close.
And if I keep asking the same questions over, please forgive me. Do you recall hearing the vehicle making any sounds? Do you remember hearing any horns honking?
Not
No.
at all.
Do you remember the sound of a vehicle accelerating?
It felt like as it passed me, it seemed like it was speeding up,
Okay.
and I would have to think that that's because of what I heard, and maybe just because it was zipping by also.
Yeah. So from my understanding, where you were at, the vehicle probably blew past you on your left side.
My right side.
Your right side.
Yes, because I was sitting in the street, but then I saw this coming, and of course your first inclination is to get out of the way, but I didn't know where my kids were.
Right.
So I was kind of moving out of the way, but also looking and there's just so many people that that it was packed. Just the sides of the streets were packed with people watching the parade, and I was looking for them and moving out of the way and watching where this car is going at the same time. It's all kind of a blur, but I stepped off. I don't know if I made it up on the sidewalk, but I was certainly on the side. I guess that would be both directions. I know I was right in front of, what was the name of the cigar bar? Nice Ash Cigar Bar is right where we were, because that's, they ended up pulling us in to the bar. So yeah, I had stepped off. So the car passed between me and the flow, which was kind of in the middle of the road.
So there wasn't much distance between you and the vehicle, if I get this right.
No, not at all.
Probably less than an arm's length.
No, it was a little further than that. Again, bad with distance.
Well, we're dealing with memory, and memories,
I know those streets are quite narrow too, so it couldn't have been
yeah,
too far. 5 feet, maybe.
5 feet. Could you feel the vehicle pass you on the right side?
I can't remember. I can't recall if I did.
Okay. I bet you were more surprised, if anything.
Yes. Just trying to process what's going on. And again, trying to figure out where my kids are.
If you need me to stop, let me know.
Okay.
This might get a little difficult. Did you see what happened in front of you then?
Yes. I did. But I saw when the car was about parallel to our Suburban. We were using our personal vehicle.
Yeah.
When the car was about next to the Suburban, I heard the impact, and I saw. We have these red ponchos fleece ponchos that we wear during parades.
Yeah.
And we all, pretty much all of the people walking the parade, my kids did not have them on though. We didn't have them on.
No, they didn't.
But I watched where this car was going, and about next to the Suburban, heard the impact, and I just remember seeing a red poncho go flying in the air. And that's when I knew that someone from our group had been struck. I did not know who it was at that point. I really did not know. It's hard to describe when you're in a parade. We've done, like he said, we've done a lot of them, and a lot of times you're just honestly trying to keep up with the float, and you're looking at kids and you're throwing candy to them,
Right.
and you're more focused on what you're doing. It's you kind of lose sense of where you are even on the parade route, and I always am worried about, especially when we have kids walking with us, I always tell them, don't get too close to the float, please. Make sure you give yourself good distance.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people to do never get in between the vehicle and the float when it's moving, because even if it's stopped, he'll start going. He's not, wouldn't necessarily know that somebody had stepped in between.
Right.
Yeah, and then shortly after that, and the car kept going. I don't think it slowed down at all. If anything, like I said, I just got the sense that it was going faster. And I found my kids. I don't remember even which one I found first. But it was pretty quick that I found. Thankfully, I was able to find both of them pretty much one right after another. Just grabbed onto them, and then he came.
So you didn't know where your kids were?
No.
So that.
I knew they were on the side I was on,
Okay.
but I didn't know, like, if they were, how far up or down they were. I guess I had a sense that maybe they were ahead of where I was a little. But again, there was just so many people, and it was dark at that point. It's just a lot of confusion setting in.
Or what even happened prior to what you had seen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Adam, did you see this happen?
Yes. So driving the vehicle, Maddie, the 6-year-old girl in the car, was in the front seat. She was sitting a little bit up on the front seat, and I am constantly in my side mirrors for walkers coming up, grabbing things to throw.
Right.
I was actually looking around her because my normal view was not, she was obstructing it. I checked my right side mirror, and a walker was grabbing some things off the trailer. I checked my speed. I looked at my speedometer. It said 2 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
From that point, I went to my left rear view mirror, and I saw 2 headlights to the side of the vehicle, and I thought for a split second that it was the dance vehicle, the club's vehicle behind me. I kept looking in the rear view mirror to see the impact to Jane.
Yeah.
Hearing it and seeing it, the vehicle hit her. She went up on the hood. Her head impacted the windshield. She was on the hood as it's going by my side. I can hear the vehicle accelerating. The roar of the engine. It was vivid. Again, my window was down. I will tell you, it would be in an arm's length. Like, I could have grabbed her.
Mm-hmm.
The vehicle got in front of me. She fell off the front of the vehicle, and he proceeded to run her over with the right front tire and the right rear tire and accelerate on. At the time he was accelerating on, I had gotten out of my vehicle and was running because I thought it was
I usually
Thought it was
walking
Stephanie.
alongside him when we do parades. I usually, and he is when we walk around.
I got up to the person down and was trying to process. She was on her side, face away from me. We're down. I was trying to process what Steph was wearing to figure out who this is. And when I realized it was not Steph, I immediately ran backwards behind the float and found Steph and our two kids on the sidewalk. And immediately ran, once I knew that they were okay, my daughter's best friend was in the dance team behind us. She was in the parade as well.
Is she okay?
She is okay. She is. Her other friend is at Children's right now, and you know, I know Addison's parents weren't there, or her mother was waiting after we found out after the fact, but her mother wasn't in the parade with her. So I ran back there to find her and make sure she was okay, and just grabbed her, and she was telling me that their friend Sam is down and was hit, and I just told her to stay with me and stay on the sidewalk. And then some other parents that were in the parade, they stayed together on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to them, and at that time the cigar bar, the people in the bar had opened their doors to let our group in and get them off the streets.
Were you able to see any details regarding the vehicle that passed you? Do you remember the color?
The color was red. I could not identify the driver. I did not. I just watched the person on the hood. I think it was red. Was it a? Can I guess? Was it a Ford?
You know it's a red vehicle, you're just not sure what type. Yeah, it was a Ford.
I mean, just based on the back end, it looked like a Ford.
It was a smaller SUV,
Right.
correct? Yeah. Yeah. You didn't see anything about the driver, though?
No, sir.
Okay. And at this point, it really doesn't matter. We're sure who it is. And yeah, have you seen anything?
No, sir.
Okay.
We have not turned on the news. We're not social media people. So
I've been keeping what you have.
I don't have any Twitter, Facebook.
You're better off.
I know.
Yeah, you're better off.
Well, that's a story on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I do know some information about the gentleman just because of my brother is in law enforcement, and
Mhm.
he called me on Tuesday, and he was from Deer Hunting, and he had no clue any of this.
He didn't know that we
That we were.
He knew what had happened, but he didn't realize we were there.
how much we were involved.
You guys were like at the epicenter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Block behind you and a block in front of you.
yeah.
Did you know Jane?
No, not really. She had been hired at the bank about a year ago.
Okay.
And because of COVID, we really I haven't been out to our branches very much.
Okay.
I was trying to think. I think that honestly was probably the first time I had met her in person.
Okay. Doesn't matter much, but I'm just trying to figure out relationships. You said you hadn't been out to that branch. Are you like a manager, district manager, or?
I'm the marketing director.
Marketing director. Okay.
I work out of an office in Guanago.
Okay.
And kind of the one who always organizes the parades.
Okay.
And we oftentimes have a hard time finding volunteers to want to do them, and we did pull together a pretty large crew for this, but we never found anybody else to drive. So that's how he has gotten roped into a contract to help me out.
You guys had about 12 to 15 in the parade?
I think sick thing is I have a group photo on my phone that we took before.
I would say about 12 to 15,
I think 13 was my count.
because there were 8 of us that left.
8 of us left together. Alyssa.
And there's 12. There's about 15.
Okay. Those are 15.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have brought their kids.
Mm-hmm.
The little one was in the car because her mom said she's slow, she wouldn't keep up. I'm so thankful she was in the car.
Do you guys want to talk at all about the aftermath of anything else you may have seen?
They were in the bar.
They were in the bar. Okay.
Yeah.
We honestly, I'm thankful that we haven't pried too much with our kids. We ask if they want to talk. If they, and we actually had my daughter speak with someone.
Okay.
Someone who is actually my best friend is becoming a mental health professional for children. She's almost done with school. So anyway, she spoke with her too. But I don't think they may have seen Jane be hit to a degree, maybe as much as I saw, maybe more. I don't know if they were a little further up, but they didn't see as much as I'm sure a lot of other people did, and I'm thankful for that, at least, that we did.
We'll let them talk about it on their own if they want to bring it up to us and what they saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to pry.
I don't want to ask them questions. They have not heard this story from me as far as what I had seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have much more to offer beyond that because, unless there's anything specific you want to talk about again, but we pretty much just took shelter in the bar at that point.
I was on the streets and had gone back to where the dance team was, and saw the 4 girls on the ground, and just, not that I can help, I'm not trained in any of this. I guess just went back to see if I could make sure everybody was being tended to, or I can't answer why I went back there.
Mm-hmm.
People on the streets crying for their children that they couldn't find, yelling. A lot of people were calling out for ones they couldn't find. I went back to where Jane was lying, and there were people doing CPR on her, chest compressions, I remember. And then ambulances, I was doing all of this extremely numb, not comprehending a lot of what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
trying to kind of just at that point, I just started packing everything and trying to get us home. Get the float wrapped up. I wanted to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't quick enough before they started tying everything off and making it the crime scene, and I couldn't do anything.
Was your vehicle stuck down there for overnight?
It was stuck overnight, yeah. I got called the next day.
Okay.
That they were starting to clean up the streets. That was around noon on Monday. So I had to go back down there, get it. Which, I had her take me to the library, and then I just walked in from the library.
Yeah.
Found an officer and said, this is what they told me to do. And then they let me out, and the one officer that helped me and led me out said, did you witness anything? And that's when I gave her my information. And you're good.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Did your vehicle get struck?
No, sir.
Did the float get struck at all?
No, sir.
Okay.
There's got to be, I maybe moved the vehicle over from where I was. It may have gotten moved over 10 feet closer to the sidewalk, but then I jumped out of the vehicle. So where it was sitting wasn't where, the distances of where he went through. There was a little bit more room.
Okay.
It seemed like you went.
Yeah, I
to
veered
the
to my left and
just a little
hit
bit.
the park and bolted out of the
That's where
vehicle.
Where you left it.
And then I tried to wrap everything up, and then we had everyone at that point in our group. That was, there were 8 of us left. We had a couple of,
And
Alyssa, yeah, there were 10 of us. So
some of your friends were there too.
We had to get to their vehicles over by the library and the middle school.
Yeah.
Or whatever's over there, and then we just all walked as a group.
I've talked to a lot of people. I keep hearing about balloons popping.
I can't answer that, sir.
Do you recall anything about balloons popping? Okay.
I do remember as we were going into the bar that there were some people saying that there were shots fired. That message was, I did hear after the fact that was an officer trying to stop the vehicle back earlier in the route. But that felt like it was coming from the, back meeting, behind us on the parade route. It felt like that rumor was kind of coming up the street a little bit.
Like it was happening in front of?
No, like people that were coming from behind, like where the dance team was, from that direction,
Okay.
coming towards our where we were on the street. People were saying, somebody was saying that there were shots fired, but I don't recall hearing. I'm sure if I had heard any popping noise of any kind, I would have freaked out about that, but I don't remember hearing anything that would have been gunshots or balloons or anything like that.
Okay.
It is pretty loud in the streets, especially at this parade.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people,
Music.
so there is a lot of crowd noise. There's a lot of music.
Right.
So you hear things, and there's a lot of. It's a parade. There's a lot of odd things that happen. So if you hear something like that, then your mind probably would go off to it's a parade act.
Yeah. Is there anyone else I should follow up with what they may have seen? I've talked to Karen. I don't know if you know Karen.
Yes, I don't care.
I've talked to Kristen.
Okay. They were. We probably saw a lot more too, because I'm guessing they were.
Seems like Kristen was rather close. And then Karen is probably just a little bit over. Yeah.
My understanding is that basically the head of our HR, who was also there, has, I don't know if it's your card, or she said has a card.
I gave a card to Karen.
Maybe that's what she gave to Sarah.
Okay.
then. So, because there were a few more adults that were there.
Okay. If anyone's willing and has anything else they want to share, I am more than willing to meet them.
Okay.
I don't know if I made that clear with you. I could have went out to McWanago. So,
No, no, we're good.
do either of you have a driver's license with your current information on it?
Yes.
So it's just easier to write that stuff down. Did you stay home for Thanksgiving, or did you go somewhere?
No, we were home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we've done a lot of leaving home.
That was the plan anyway.
Yeah.
We just have a few people over.
When he drove past you with her on the hood, do you remember any other details?
I remember thinking it was my wife,
Okay.
just because of the red sashes, so it's hard to identify.
Yeah.
I remember whether it's vivid or not, it seems vivid that I saw her head hit the windshield. And then, it was like I could have grabbed her.
It was that close.
And, because, yeah, he hit her with that side of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And she went up she went up onto the hood, like, on her back, and it smacked right here on me.
And you think you could have, if you wanted to, you could
Grabbed her.
have grabbed her? Okay.
It was a flash but the sound of the vehicle accelerating at this point with someone on a hood that's very vivid.
I guess with that observation, this seemed very intentional.
Absolutely. Yes.
I know that sounds like a dumb statement for me to say it like that.
No, but
I
it needs
mean,
to be said. It
yeah.
needs to be. There was no. There in watching someone not only get hit but then get run over.
Yeah.
There is no remorse.
No.
Whatsoever inside that vehicle.
There's no attempt to stop at all.
It is
Or avoid.
100% selfishness.
Yeah.
Or, to be honest with you, sir, when I found my family and my son is crying and asking why, all I could think about was this is an act of terror. And I said terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Again, when Jason called me and helped me, realize some things that he's like, God placed you guys where he did. Just focus on that.
Right.
And don't look back. Don't think of what if, because it's going to kill you. It's going to eat you alive. And as we, as he was talking me through, what we were, he said, "Do you want to know?" He goes, "It wasn't terrorism, but do you want to know?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yeah." And he informed me on what's happened over the few basically this guy's history.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a selfish individual.
There, there was no remorse, intent to stop, care, or anything
Mm-hmm.
by what I witnessed and heard. Unfortunately, my vision went complete
To her.
tunnel when I saw what was Jane on the ground.
Right.
I didn't look up, and I lost pretty much most of my senses at that point
Mm-hmm.
until I could process, and this is selfish as well, but that it wasn't her.
I don't think it's selfish.
It feels that way when
It's not.
But, so if anything, and I can't help with anything from that point going forward.
Didn't see anything that happened
From Jane going
beyond.
forward, I didn't see anything happen that way.
Well, you've been extremely helpful, though. You're painting a very vivid picture of what happened. I mean, it may not seem like it. It may seem like a little small piece, but it's extremely vivid. I mean,
It's living in here.
yeah. I mean, what you witnessed is horrible. There's video of it. To hit somebody, that's horrible. For them to hit the hood, that's horrible. But there's a whole new level when they're run over.
Oh,
And I'll share with you after I turn off the recorder, but I appreciate you guys coming in and telling us about this. Thank you. And if there's anyone else that's able to share this, what they witnessed, or if they have anything that they want to add, let me know. Right now, we're in the middle of triaging what people have seen and what they're telling us. There's hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people on the route.
Yeah.
And some of them said, "Well, I saw the aftermath." Well, it was horrible, but I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, and thank you for letting us know, but it's not what we're looking for at this point.
right.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. So thank
That
you.
was one of the things that Jason also said is, would you be willing to testify?
Yeah.
He goes, "You were that close."
Yeah.
Now, if this is not sufficient evidence, is that, you think, going to be necessary?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
fair enough. I'm willing.
Okay. Thank you for already having that internal discussion. I haven't even really brought that up with people I'm discussing with this at this point, because I don't even know if it's going to be necessary or not.
Understood.
As Jason might tell you, I mean, a lot of these don't even go to a trial.
He did not say that. He just said you may have to do
We
this.
may have to. And to be honest with you, I haven't really evaluated this much, but an individual in this situation has nothing to lose by going to a jury trial. He really has nothing to lose.
Right.
This will become a spectacle. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
In today's day and age.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's looking at a long time. And I don't think anyone's going to negotiate with him as far as time off. You can't. I mean, what he did was completely ghoulish. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm now sharing too much, but
No. He should not have been on the streets in the first place.
no.
The bail should have been set way higher, that people can't afford the second time you're in there for a domestic.
Right.
Anything.
Right. especially hitting his girlfriend over.
Yeah,
Mhm.
running
Yeah,
someone
I know.
over before.
Yeah,
You're a threat to society.
but that's the thing that I've dealt with my whole career. My whole career is horrible things
Bad
are not.
people don't stop being bad people.
Well, yeah, but crimes aren't perpetrated. Horrible crimes aren't perpetrated by citizens of Waukesha County on other citizens of Waukesha County.
Right.
It's never the case. The majority of the people I deal with are from Milwaukee County. Sadly. You know, sometimes it's the domestic related incident, yes. You know, but all of the homicides we've had, generally, I'm speaking in generalities, have always been a Milwaukee County resident. I'm a Waukesha County resident. Yeah. Yeah.
We ask you to please keep the victims and witnesses in your thoughts and prayers. I have included a link to the Waukesha Community Foundation Fund if you would like to learn how you can support the victims impacted by this tragedy. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day.